Okay, so I'm in focus, you're out of focus, and I'm recording now. We're both in focus. Welcome back to this podcast. Second one we're filming with Johnny, the
Second
Ogre.
podcast.
And
For me.
ooh, I had something in my throat. I'm going to start over.
Okay, let's start over. Great.
Yes, so welcome back to the next episode of the Thundercast. Episode 5, right?
I believe so. Is it 5? That's a you thing, not a me thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 5, episode 5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, we're scooting right along.
Yeah, it's
Filming episode after episode here.
Second one for me. It's first one was a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, if you didn't watch that one, you can watch it. I'm doing a little bit of traveling. I'm down in St. George with Johnny right now, getting ready for some of the Ogre stuff. We're filming our next short film, The Ogre, in March, probably. This is going to come out during our fundraising, so if you want to check that out, thunderfeather.org. You can see Johnny's face in a video promoting it if you want to.
Yeah, you can see my face in the Ogre video too, so if you want to see more of this, you know where to find it.
Yeah, yes, I don't know. I wasn't following that logically,
Don't
but
worry
good.
about it. It's fine.
Cool.
Say no.
Anyway, last episode we kind of talked about the Ogre, like the process of like writing it and filming it and stuff. I kind of just want to start this podcast with story time. So just memories from Thunderfeather sets, because you've been on more than the Ogre set.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of the other sets.
Yeah, do you want to just talk about some of, I guess, your experience on some of those?
Yeah, let's see.
What was the very first one you've ever been on? Was it the first Ogre? The Proger, as we call it? The Ogre prequel?
Yeah, I think it was the first Ogre. That one was like...
Why does Proger sound like a spaghetti sauce brand?
I mean,
to me.
What's the Prego?
That's what it is.
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of
anyway,
uses the same letters, but we're very serious.
Anyway,
here. We know what we're doing. So Kroger, not a spaghetti sauce apparently.
Nope.
Yeah, that set, it was kind of just like a, hey, we need to test this out. Let's put it together. It turned out into something really fun. But being on set, I had my dog there. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Fox was in it. Fox, his dog, whose name is Fox, who inspired the character of Fox the Puppet, who is in this Ogre coming up, played by Landon Newton, who is the werewolf.
Who is also the werewolf in the
He plays the character of Fox. It's based on his real-life dog.
Yes. And that was fun to shoot and going around Provo, just like... Did we shoot that with Nick? Was he on?
Nick Sales?
Yeah.
Nick Sales, one of my best friends in the entire universe, was not there that day, but I love that guy.
I felt like somebody else was there other than... Anyway, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, a couple of people. But I was on camera and I shouldn't have been. We were using a black magic, I think, that I had never used before that day. That was literally us trying to... It was my uncle's camera, and I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, let's shoot some scenes. So we shot them, and then we wrote the story. We talked about this in the last podcast a little bit, but we wrote the story after we filmed it, and it fit perfectly. Like, I hadn't edited anything. I wrote the story just true to Johnny's experiences, fantastical kind of versions of things from his real life, and then it just fit with what we had filmed miraculously. If you go watch it and realize that it's not filmed for the narration, it's kind of incredible. And we had Michael Flynn do the narration. He's a pretty well-known actor in Utah, and outside Utah as well. But if you're in Utah, you definitely know who he is in the film industry. But he did such a great job on that narration. It was so great.
Yeah,
so that was the first one. That was your first experience.
Yeah, I do remember we got so many snacks, and so it was a pretty good day. Lots of snacks. We bought how many?
There were a lot of snacks.
How many McDonald's dollar burgers did we buy? We probably bought like 10 or 20 of them.
And there were no snacks left at the end of the show.
There were not any snacks left.
Which is a good thing. We don't shame ogres for their snacks.
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think probably one of my more memorable experiences was as we were getting started on the Ogre, not the Proger,
this production, which we have filmed a little bit of promotional materials for. We're doing principal photography in March of this year. Well, March of 2024. Whenever this comes out, I don't know. This will probably be in December. But we have filmed a little bit in between the Proger and now this one that we're going to shoot. We filmed a little bit of Ogre scenes. So.
Yeah. I was actually going to talk about when we were doing some auditioning for it, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Really just fun experiences with auditions. We've taken a bit of a different direction to auditions, because we're not looking for somebody who can just read lines, because we don't expect that of our actors, really.
Yeah, totally.
We just want to see people interact with other people. Mm-hmm. And we had one of our actors, I forget why we decided to do a wizard scene in the audition, but we decided to have him interact with me. I was the ogre, he was the wizard in the audition, and man, that was just so fun. Like
totally.
Two of us just playing off each other. He was trying to help me like heal or something from like an injury that I got.
Yeah, there's some quest you were on, which for those that don't know, the ogre world is populated with fantastical creatures and beasts and fantasy kind of things, but it takes place in modern day, so it's like a modern day sort of world like that. Like if your medieval fantasy progressed to have the technology and society that we have nowadays is kind of the world that we've placed the ogre in. So it's really fun to play in. And this guy is Patrick you're talking about?
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, one of our actors, Patrick Weeks. He is awesome, and we're going to bring him back for this other shoot if he's available in March, but he blew us away with it was so funny. He's like a magician in real life. Like he does just like stage magic, right?
Yeah.
And so we cast him as a wizard who has real magic, who is obsessed with stage magic as his character.
Yeah, like I think that's like my favorite part about it. Is basically his audition created this whole character.
A whole scene that wasn't in the ogre until we met him.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing about our auditions is that we don't pick people to play characters that we write. We find the right people. We identify the kind of characters they would want to play. And we let it organically shape into the story. We write the story around them, which was just so much fun with Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick's a great example.
And he's a great example. It's like kind of the experience we talked about for me in our last podcast. Like my character, the ogre, has been written a lot about who I am, and it's just really fun to like bring out some of these important parts of like Patrick, like bring out his and then when we brought him on set later, it was just so much fun to have him be the magician and just
he did such a good. We were laughing so hard that day.
That was awesome. It was just, and a lot like we've talked about. Like, I mean, nobody else could have done it exactly like Patrick did it. It had to be Patrick, and he had to be a wizard, and it was just so fun.
That's the thing. I'm not as the main like writer and creative lead of Thunderfeather. I am not close to creative or funny enough to come up with that good of a scene. And if it would have been like my creative vision, we never would have had like the best part of the ogre, which is a freaking wizard who's obsessed with stage magic. It's so freaking funny. Like think about that. He's like, I mean, I can appear magic and frogs or whatever, but the real and I think his line is sleight of hand is the truest trait of a trickster, and he's just like doing all his card tricks and drops them and everything. It's so freaking good, and it's good because of Patrick. Patrick did that 100%. That was him, and that was him bringing that to our story, which was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, and it's just so cool to get those stories out there and see these people experience that. Not too long ago, we were finishing the filming for the Pirate short film.
Yeah, The Ballad of Captain Eric, which should be coming out soon in its completed form. We filmed that in July.
Yeah, and
June.
I didn't act in that one. I just kind of came in as a stagehand, basically, just helped out where Levi needed it, just for the basically just the last day of shooting.
So fun.
And my biggest takeaway from that was it was so cool to see. My favorite part was as people finished their day and you were sending some of them home, just like, hey, a round of applause for everyone. And man, it was just like so genuine, and the joy that these individual actors felt after they had finished this part of all of this filming that they've been doing up until then. It's just it's just so cool.
It's cool.
Awesome.
It's literally the coolest thing ever. And we're not saying that because we made Thunderfeather. We're saying that because it legitimately is the coolest thing ever. And I think there's a particular brand of magic that comes out when everybody has this sort of energy to them, when they realize this is an accepting place, that they can suggest creative ideas, that they're not going to be shut down, that everybody's just as valuable as anybody else. And I think that we had the training. We worked together with Landon and Nate from our other podcast for years with a nonprofit called DPAC, Discovering Potential Through Arts Creativity, and it does theater camps. So we would do this camp every year, and I still do it. I teach there now, but we were camp counselors there. I think you did it 1 year, right?
Yeah, I did 1 year.
And so it's kind of like this theater camp has always had this magic to it. And these kids come and their lives are changed, and it's just about theater, but for some reason it's actually about something much deeper. And I realized my first couple of years there that feeling is what I wanted to do the rest of my life, which is why I went on to make Thunderfeather. I wanted to spread that magic, and I'm so beyond grateful that somehow everybody coming together has been able to bring that magic to our sets, because it's there. It really is there every single time we're on set. And like, it can be stressful and it can be crazy, but like, everybody goes away, I feel like, glowing. Like, there's a light every time we end, even if it's really ridiculously hard. We've created something together, and I think that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's always craziness going on, always these like things that get in our way, but we've just made so many fun things. Like when we were filming some of the original stuff for the Ogre.
Yeah.
When we were doing the Minotaur scene, like, so many things went wrong that day.
So many things. Everything that could go wrong. I finished the Minotaur head. It's this big puppet head. And Landon was the puppeteer behind it, moving the mouth. And then my roommate Tagaloa Tapusoa, he's this big, tall guy. So we put him in this Minotaur costume, and he has this giant Minotaur head with this puppet mouth. I finished that thing at like 1:00 a.m. the night before we were shooting that. And it was just like everything going wrong. And then we show up on set, we roll the camera, and it was like magic. It was like a spell. It was beautiful. And we had just this awesome content, this awesome like performance by these actors. And they just like, I think that's the coolest thing for me, is to find people and to realize that if I believe in them, they are going to do incredible things. And I'm not always there being like, oh, I hope you're good enough. I just know they're going to be, because they're meant to be there, and they always end up pulling off these miraculous like these characters that they make, or these performances that they do, are always just amazing, and I'm always blown away. So for me, that's always been the coolest thing about it.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's been really fun being a part of it, and when I am going to continue to act, continue to produce for it, but I would say that's probably my favorite part about filming with Thunderfeather as well, as the experience that everyone else is getting.
Yeah,
it's just
something cool about Johnny too is that like he started as an actor, and actually we made the first Ogre movie, just as friends. We weren't a technical nonprofit at that point. We didn't become a nonprofit till a couple years later, maybe like 2 years after that. But you started as an actor and then kind of worked with us, and now you're a producer. You're producing this section in March. And that's been really cool to see these people. Like, that's been my goal for all of our actors. We've had several actors like Eric, who plays Captain Eric. There was a news article that KSL just did about him that I might link in this video. But he was really cool, because 5 years after, almost to the day that he was acting in our first film, he was producing a film. And it was just so cool to see him take that role. And it's been cool to see you just kind of take that leadership and come up with so many good ideas and stuff. So I appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
You've been good. That sounded like it was the end of the podcast, but we're only about halfway through, so that wasn't the end.
Not done yet, don't worry.
But I just wanted to let you know, man.
Yeah, it would have been a good ending. You could have said ended with something like
the
that.
end! Just kidding. I probably totally blew out the speaker just now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
so
okay.
loud.
Yeah, it's just my speaker, you know. Anyway.
You know what? We tap on this table a lot. It's probably so annoying. You probably hear it in the speaker. I've been thinking about that. Anyway. It's just ASMR, okay?
We were going to talk about this. Our sound guy isn't here today.
That was a Dementor just now. Yes, our sound guy, Landon Newton, the werewolf, we call him, usually does our sound, and he is not here. So if the sound is bad, it's his fault for not being here.
Should have been here.
Just kidding.
Should have gone
totally
on a whole trip with you just for this one.
Leave your twin babies behind who need a lot of attention.
Who's more important?
Right now, and help us out, bro.
Who else needs a lot of attention?
Us. We have a never-ending crevasse that can never be filled, that sucks in all the attention. So, crevasses. Oh, crevice. That's probably how I say that.
That is nice.
Okay, anyway. Other memories on set. So you talked about the pirate film. I talked about the Proger. Have you been on any others?
Those are the ones that I've been on so far. So I was also thinking of one specific memory I was thinking of was one of our other filming days for the Ogre, when we were filming the boss Minotaur scene.
Oh, yeah.
And we have this thing that exists completely outside of Thunderfeather, where we just like lose it laughing for no reason.
Oh, inside joke.
Inside joke.
The joke is that there are inside jokes that we laugh at.
Yes. And but the point is that we like lose it laughing though.
It just debilitates us.
It's just like, and then while we were on set, we had, I forget what happened. It was one of your brothers was playing as one of the
Yeah. One of my brothers is neurodivergent, and well, probably all of my siblings are neurodivergent, but one of my brothers is diagnosed neurodivergent. He was one of the puppets. We had a lot of puppets on the Ogre. It's kind of sort of Jim Henson inspired as well, fantasy world thing, and specifically he was playing a tiny, cute, furry, wolf-like hyena-ish creature that was also a deadly assassin. Like, there are these 3 adorable puppets that are like super, super deadly assassins that go after the Ogre. And so that's the scene you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And I'm talking about the moment where they were supposed to, like, we were kind of trying to get them to do that, something like that. We just wanted them to all kind of start laughing.
Yeah.
And then
can you hold on to your thought? I'm going to change the battery. I just got a warning.
Okay.
Sorry about that. My bad. Good. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
We're back.
Thank you.
We were never gone.
We weren't. I was behind the camera for a second. You just sat there.
Yeah, I didn't move. That's fair. But it was off.
For sure, not that you needed to.
Anyway.
So you were saying?
Talking about, we were doing the scene where we were kind of trying to, the assassins were all supposed to laugh together.
Like an evil laugh.
Like an evil, like,
they're like, we're going to kill the Ogre.
But then your brother just like,
Adam is my brother, by the way.
Just like starts laughing, and he does this weird thing with his arm where he's like picks up the puppet and it's like, and he just completely loses it laughing as the puppet's like falling down.
Yeah, they're like laying on the ground under this table, and the puppets are above the table. And for some reason, they just like died together laughing at the laughing sound. Like the puppets were looking at each other like, and then it just exploded. It's beautiful.
It was so fun.
Art.
And, it's just so good being on scene and just like everyone's just having the same energy and like, it's so good.
Like we set out to make movies. That's what we do.
Yes.
Right. But really, what we're doing is we're giving people the opportunity to be involved in these productions. Like that's what Thunder Feather is really about. And yes, we want to distribute the movies, and yes, we want people to see movies, and yes, we want to make good movies and good art and get it out there. But more than anything, we want people to be able to feel like that. We want them to feel that like community, especially among a certain demographic, neurodivergent people, which struggle often to find a good community. So that's kind of what we're all about.
Yeah, I think that's really important for like anyone who wants to be involved. Like we really want everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my goal is that every single person that is interested in Thunder Feather could be involved in Thunder Feather. Our only limitation right now is funding, which like you could help out with our fundraiser right now with the Ogre, and anything in the future, you could be a monthly donor. You could buy something from our shop on thunderfeather.org, any of that stuff, thunderfeather.org/courses. We have an online course. There's so many ways to help out, and the only reason we say that is because like the money just goes straight to helping people have these experiences and feel included, and it's so important to us that they get that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know if you've talked about this before, but ever since we've started, it's been extremely important to you specifically that people are paid to act, to participate in Thunder Feather productions. Yeah, totally. Like, why was it from the start so important for you?
Well, I was an actor first, right? Like when I dropped out of college, I got involved. I knew I needed to get involved in movies. I started with acting, and I had been on tons of different sets and just not treated very well on some and not treated well on others. And I had just been on I was on all the way up to super professional productions, all the way down to independent film. Excuse me. And I felt like you weren't very valuable if you were just a background extra or if you were in a small role or something. And everything was so disorganized and everything was so like chaotic and people were stressed with each other and didn't like each other. And I was like, this is not the right environment for me. And I know other neurodivergent people just would never want to get in this environment. And I've been underpaid or unpaid so often that like, yes, it's definitely more difficult to pay everyone on set, but it's so important to me that they feel valued like that. And so my priority is always pay everyone and pay them as much as I can. Now, obviously, I'll have people come along and be like, I just want to volunteer. Please help me. Like, let me just be involved in this project. And I of course, let them do that if they really want to. But yes, it's so important to me that you're not just here to have a great experience and everything. I think the way that I put it is I want to create the kind of set where everybody would work and be on set for free and nobody has to. That's kind of my sort of philosophy behind it, is like make something that's so fun and good and positive that you would just be there to be there and you don't have to, because your time is worth something, and you as an artist and a creator, we want to know that you're worth it and that you're worthy of that. So
Yeah.
That was a very long answer to your question.
No, I think we've talked about it a bit before, but I think it's important for everybody else to hear as well why it's so important to you, and that a lot of people don't feel valued in a lot of aspects. And I've definitely felt that being a part of Thunder Feather, and I know from, like we've talked about, the reactions of other people and to other actors, other people involved in Thunder Feather, that they also feel valued. And that's why people continue to be involved, why I'm still involved, why Eric, for example, is still very involved in Thunder Feather. It's because of the value that he's felt while being a part of it. So
I'm really glad. Thanks, man. I think that's a good thing probably to end on. These podcasts might get longer in the future. We might adjust the time, but for now, we just feel like this is a good 20-ish minutes. But thanks so much if you've listened to us. We're going to be making shorts. You can expect a lot of stuff in the future. You can expect behind-the-scenes stuff, interviews with people. If anybody wants to connect with us that has like a channel or something that's similar in nature to ours and wants to collaborate, we would love to do that. And yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. And thanks, Johnny, for being our guest these last 2 episodes. We'll definitely be seeing him again.
For sure. I'll be around. Boop. That's it.
Sweet.
I'll be around.
I'll be round. Rounder and rounder and rounder.